Welcome to Weird Wednesday, my friends. This is your host, John House, or Used Toy. Joining me is my co-host, Daryl House, or Suburban Hobo. How you doing, Daryl?
Week after week, you get the same old story. Life is grand in South Florida. I played 3 sets of tennis this morning. I'm looking for an apartment. I've been out doing apartments. I had lunch at a beautiful little restaurant on the Intracoastal Waterway. I'm suffering. It's brutal.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple really nice days in a row here, but Thursday, a low of 8 degrees.
Ooh, this coming Thursday, is that what they're predicting?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll be thinking about you because I'll be down in, it's going to be 80, I think, down there, and I'll be playing guitar on the patio on the Intracoastal at Duffy's in North Miami Beach.
Well, Tuesday, 70, Thursday, 8.
I miss Ohio. Oh, wait. No, I don't.
So what do you have for us today?
Hey, did you hear about the guy in New Zealand who, he's a poker guy. I'm going to do the whole story, but he plays poker, he lost stupid, and when you lose, they give you a new name. Did you see this?
I did. This is one of my stories.
Oh, no. Well, I'll talk real slow while you find another.
We can certainly talk about it.
I love it. In a nutshell, a New Zealand man had his name changed to Full Metal Havoc, more seeky and intelligent than Spock and all the superheroes combined with Frost Nova.
I love that story.
After losing a drunken bet at a poker game. The name is just one letter less than the 100-character limit set by New Zealand's Department of Internal Affairs. A friend of the 22-year-old from the southern city of Dunedin posted a message on an online bodybuilding forum explaining that the name had been chosen for him by his fellow card players, and he wrote, "My friend lost a bet 5 years ago and changed his name. He just found out his passport expired, and they did approve the name." Let me just read it one more time. I got to go back to the first line. Full Metal Havoc, more in intelligence. I say
more sexy and intelligent.
More sexy. Oh, you do have this. Than Spock and all the superheroes combined with Frost Nova. Now, I don't really know what Frost Nova is. Do you know what that is?
I don't either, but I love the name. You know, it reminds me of a story. There was a poker player a few years ago, and anybody who's a big professional poker player has heard this story. This guy bet a lot of big money gamblers that he wouldn't get breast implants. And this guy has a nice C cup, and after winning the bet, he went ahead and kept the C cup. So about once a year, he shows up on ESPN with his man boobs.
Did you hear about the conversation between Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin that was going on the other day? You know, Barack's giving him some grief over this whole thing with the Ukraine stuff. But I guess they were talking, and all of a sudden Vladimir says, "Knock, knock." And so Barack Obama says, "Who's there?" And Vlad says, "Crimea." And Barack Obama says, "Crimea who?" And he says, "Cry me a river, cry me a river, 'cause I cried a river over you."
All right. Bank robbery suspect posts submachine gun selfie on Facebook. Yeah, a guy, he's accused, he's only 21 years old. He's accused of robbing 3 banks. And he posted on Facebook a picture of him with the submachine gun that he used in the robberies. Brilliant.
I never get over them. You know, the level of their stupidity, there's no level to which they will not stoop. Anyway, how about this story here? I like this one. I'm sure you've seen this one. In fact, you may have this one. Speaking of gambling, there's a guy out in California, a retiree. He was drinking and gambling at a Las Vegas casino on Super Bowl weekend. Now he's trying to get back $500,000 that he lost.
Wow.
Mark Johnson is suing the Downtown Grand for loaning him money and letting him play while he was blackout drunk. Nevada law bars casinos from allowing visibly drunk patrons to gamble and from serving them comped drinks. Johnston's attorney, Sean Little, says the Grand is countersuing Johnson for trying to shirk his gambling debts. The State Gaming Control Board is investigating. Now, I read another version of this same story that said he was like drinking all day. He was drinking at the airport. He was drinking on the plane. Then when the limo picked him up at the airport, the limo driver fixed him a cocktail. And they kept feeding him drinks. He says fallen down, stupid drunk, and they loaned him money, and he lost $500,000.
Wow. You know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Not all of it.
Apparently, like most of his money did.
Yeah, well, I think he's contesting that.
Well, Charlene Marie Ellett arrested again after allegedly making out with her brother.
Again?
She, I don't know if anybody saw this, but she was arrested on shoplifting after she was arrested before. This time she was arrested for assaulting her husband. She was arrested before, and she was in, I guess, jail cell next to her brother, and the authorities found the two making out. And she told them that she had been in a relationship with them, with her brother, since her brother was released from jail.
I always heard the family that lays together stays together.
Yeah, this didn't even happen in Kentucky.
That's so bad.
You know what God made West Virginia?
Why is that?
So people from Kentucky would have somebody to make fun of.
That used to be a Kentucky joke about people in Michigan, I think, a long time ago. What goes around comes around, you know what they say. And listen, this story is just a little bit longer, and this is a weird story, but this is kind of a feel-good weird story. And as musicians, I think we have a special bond with this guy here. On a windy day in southern Arizona's remote borderlands, Glenn Wyant had everything he needed to make music: a cello bow, a mallet, and the miles-long fence dividing the United States and Mexico. His method, like his music, was improvisational and low-tech. He inserted electronic equipment into an Altoids tin. He turned it into a microphone, and then he filled the tin with magnets and pressed it against the fence a few inches off the ground. Wires attached to the tin led to an amp and several effects pedals, the kind electric guitar players use, which allows him to manipulate the sounds. Desert scrub, mesquite, sun-bleached rocks would serve as his audience. Sometimes they do double duty as instruments. Nobody thought of the border wall as possibly anything other than something to separate people. He said, I transform it. I play it. For 8 years, he has tapped, banged, and stroked the fence to produce haunting, sometimes ethereal sounds in a region he has called the de facto militarized zone. Compositions can last a minute or more than half an hour. He says, I'm a border deconstructionist. I want to deconstruct preconceived notions. What I'm saying is you don't need to be afraid of the wall. You have nothing to fear. And he finished up with this. He moved to Tucson 19 years ago when much of the border fence in southern Arizona was barbed wire and it seemed forbidden. He didn't know whether he could even touch it, and he wondered if he was even allowed. So now he goes out. It's a much longer story. I edited this a lot, but that's only half of it. But a great story. This guy, has taken this border along the Mexican border with the illegal immigrants and stuff, and he's making music.
That's a beautiful story.
I liked it.
Well, folks, that's all we have time for today on Weird Wednesday from BaloneyBrain.com. Thank you guys for stopping by. Daryl, as always, wonderful.
You're the man.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.